What's going on, guys? So today's video is a pretty short one, but it's an interesting topic that I wanted to bring up and talk about a little bit, and of course read your comments and get your feedback on. The knife we're looking at here, I'm going to do a separate video on in the future. I've actually had this for a while now, got this in trade. This is a transient micro from HMC, and this is a really cool knife, but it's teeny. And I had no idea that it was going to be this small. So and I'm totally happy with it. It's not like, oh man, I'm disappointed. No, I really don't care. I just thought it was funny because, you know, when doing the trade with this, I heard about the knife. It was kind of new to me. And I looked at some pictures real quick. And I mean, this is a $275 knife, you know, and it is beautiful. And again, I'll do a separate video on this and talk about details and such. But I was surprised when it came in the mail and I opened the package and I'm like, where's the rest of it? Why is this thing so tiny? So like, I think some of us are guilty. I shouldn't say all of us are guilty. Some people are very neurotic when it comes to knife stuff. But generally speaking, I have an idea of how big a knife is. But once in a blue moon, I'll do a trade for a knife, you know, or I'll buy a knife and it arrives and I'm like, that is way smaller than I thought or way bigger than I thought. So the topic is, of course, being surprised by the size of a knife. Now, when you've been doing this for as long as I've been doing it and you're into the knife hobby for, you know, 2+ decades, you generally get an idea of how big knives are by looking at specs. So when you see a knife and you say, okay, it's 3.5 inch blade, you get a real quick idea, you know, as to what you're going to expect. But with this one, I just didn't look at the specs, all right? Because of the price point, I, for some reason, just assumed that it was going to be a full-size knife, and this is definitely not. Now, it is called the micro, okay? So that obviously should have been, you know, a little bit of a tip-off that it's small. But I just thought maybe it was a smaller version of a larger knife. So, I mean, you know, it's not the end of the world or anything, and it is a fantastic knife, and I'm very happy to have it. And again, I'll do a separate video on the details of it. But it's definitely smaller than I thought. All right. Now, I didn't think it was going to be this massive knife, but I did think that maybe it'd be another inch or so longer. It was just surprising how tiny it was. Now, just to give you a comparison, here's a PM2. All right. So, I mean, yeah, that is a teeny little knife. So, I mean, it's not the end of the world. I love the knife and everything, and I'm totally happy with the trade, by the way. But it was just surprising. So I want to know, have you guys purchased knives? And even if you saw the specs, in this case I didn't, but even if you looked at it and you're like, okay, the blade's this long and the handle's this long and it's this heavy and all that stuff, have you been surprised by that knife? I guarantee you, even if size was an issue, sometimes a knife is way heavier than you thought, or way lighter than you thought, way bigger, way smaller. That is just, it's a common occurrence. And I'll get messages once in a blue moon from people, you know, at least a couple times a year, and they'll say like, wow, I kept hearing about this knife and it's not what I thought at all. It's way bigger, or they'll say it's way smaller, or again, it's way heavier than I ever imagined, it's way lighter than I ever imagined. So I want to hear what knives surprised you. Write down in the comments, especially if it was somewhat recent and you remember, but let me know of a knife that you were looking for, whether you got it in a trade or if you bought it or something, and you were just surprised by its size. All right, so let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear, you know, about some of those knives. There are some beastly knives out there. Most common messages were some of the Voyager series, like, oh, I ordered a Voyager XL from Cold Steel, and the thing is a beast. I had no idea. You know, yeah, it's called XL, but if you don't know that their large is already huge, you have no idea how big it really is, you know. And again, sometimes people, you know, they'll look at knives and pick out knives just by, you know, pictures, and they don't really look at those specifications and the technical details of the actual sizes. But even then, sometimes you look at it and you're still surprised by it. So yeah, let me know down in the comment section what knives have surprised you in their size. But this one was my most recent and noteworthy, all right, to start this this topic. And it is awesome. I would love the regular size, not the micro. But this is a production version of a custom knife, and it is really interesting, really cool. Very high performing knife, just in a teeny tiny little package. So anyway, that's it. Looking forward to the comments. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Take care.